What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. This is episode 2 of my new Fantasy Draft Franchise Mode series here on NHL 17. Now, in this episode, you will get a look at what our completed team is, and I know that some people wanted to see what players other teams have, but I just don't think it would be an interesting episode for me to go through all 30 teams, so I'm not going to do that. But let me know. I mean, you'll see, like, when we look at stats and we look at league-wide stats where certain players are, if there is a certain team like, Carolina Hurricanes are your favorite team and you want to know who they got, just let me know, and I'll tell you the main players in the comments. But overall, I don't think it would be too interesting to go through every single team, especially after the marathon that was the draft itself. So getting into this episode, this is our team. These are the St. Louis Blues that we are starting off with. Evander Kane, Jack Eichel, and Patrick Laine. The top line, I'll be intrigued to see how they do. Jonathan Huberdeau is with Patrick Marleau and Lee Stempniak. Andre Nestrasil is with Tyler Bozak and Antoine Vermette. Ryan Reeves is with Jay Beagle. And Trevor Lewis on the fourth line. Not too bad. Could it be better? Of course it could. But overall, I am content with it. The defense, though, leaves a lot to be desired. Andy Green is with Dan Girardi. Francois Beauchemin is with Ben Lovejoy. And David Schlemko and Kevin Miller make up the third pairing defense. Goaltending has changed a little bit. Of course, we took Carey Price with the 4th overall pick. Antti Niemi is our new backup goalie. We were able to pick him up off of free agency. That puts Louis Domingue down on the Chicago Wolves. And they've changed a lot. We have signed a lot of players, a lot of them to one-year deals. Of course, we drafted Timo Meier. He is with Zach Dalpe, who we signed for 1 year. And we also have Teemu Pulkkinen, Connor Brickley, Michael Del Call, and Ty Ratty. So we have 2 guys that are on the Blues that are staying. Marcus Hannikainen is with Chris Wagner and Stefan Noesen. And Oscar Lindblom is with Tanner Caro and Zach Nastasiuk. That's as close as I'm going to get. I'm not even going to try again. The defense, though, is looking really good. Eric Jelena and Christian Folin. Jacob Larson, who we drafted, is with Steve Oleksy. And David Musial is with Morgan Ellis. As I said, the goaltending is now Louis Domingue with Marek Mazanec. I'm going with Mazanec. I don't care. We do have some scratched players as well that are actually on our team. Nikita Korostelev, Mackenzie Weegar, Dmitry Zukhanov, and Teemu Aronen as a backup defenseman. So I am intrigued. Because obviously with the draft, as it turns out, we could have handled it a little bit better because the free agent list is very promising. We essentially could have just taken all of the best prospects and just filled up the NHL team with a bunch of these 83 overalls and just see how he did. But I don't think it would have been as interesting, to be honest, to just have a team with all the best prospects on it. We suck for the first 2 or 3 years, and then we turn into a dynasty. We have some good pieces, absolutely, but our team isn't just stacked with these super prospects. It is going to take some work on paper to turn this team into a winner. You never know how things will go with the sim engine. And we have the Carey Price factor. So really, you never know. But again, in the system, we have some good players. Olli Juolevi, Mikhail Sergachev, of course, Michael Dal-Coll, Larson, Meier. For the record, Juolevi, Sergachev, Howden, and Jelena. Or not Jelena's. Who was it? It was Glenn Gaudin. They've been sent back to junior, as has Carter Hart. So again, I feel like we are in a pretty decent spot. We have cap space as well. I don't know. I do not know how this team will do in year 1 and moving forward, but I am excited to find out. Captaincies, because I know people will ask, I'm giving it to Beauchemin. I gave it to him by default, and I agree with it. Dan Girardi and Ryan Reeves with the letters. Reeves, actually, before I could even sign players, he dropped to a 77. I gave him an alternate, and he was back up to an 82. So Patrick Marleau is going to have to go without a letter. But that is the team. Again, if you want to see other teams, let me know. But I think the best way to handle it would just be to, if you guys, like I said, you want to see a certain team, just let me know. I'll let you know some of the prospects. Hey, we beat the Blackhawks in our first game, 6-1 no less. And throughout the season, of course, when we take a look at the Stat Central, we will see where certain big-time players went throughout the sim, or if we play them in the playoffs, which, not saying we're going to make the playoffs in our first year, but wouldn't that be nice? That would be lovely. Now, I think here, I might handle this the way I handled it with the Bruins season. We might just sim the first month or so live here, and then get back into our normal sim pattern through the rest of the season. Because, again, I can't say again, I never made this point. I don't plan on making too many trades. I just kind of plan on seeing how this team pans out. We could definitely look to make our team better. Of course, the draft picks, everyone just has their draft picks. We turned off the authentic. So I'm intrigued. I am definitely intrigued to see how this pans out. Carey Price is going to get a lot of work, at least the next 5 games, most likely. I don't think we'll start Niemi unless Price somehow loses 3 games in a row. And we've actually won our first 3 games in a row to start the season, which is pretty nice. We do lose to Vancouver, though. That's the one thing, is I can't be like, oh, shit, we lost to Vancouver. It is way too early to tell whether or not a team is actually good, especially without looking at their team. Now, what I could do, I suppose, I don't know, I definitely, it sucks. I want to take a look at every roster. I actually haven't myself. Like I said, I just think it would be boring. And honestly, I don't want to try to talk for the 20 minutes straight that it would take to get through all of those teams. We are just going to keep rolling with Carey Price here. He is going to get a ton of games in this year. He has to carry the weight for us like he does for Montreal in real life. And overall, things aren't looking too bad. Connor Brickley goes down to injury in Chicago. We'll just have the assistant coach take care of it. I could have put Korostelev in there. That is all right. And Brickley is back already because, of course, he is. 7-3 to start the year. That drops to 7-4. The injuries continue to rack up in the AHL. But so far, a 7-4 record through the first month is not terrible. It isn't terrible. Now, I do want to go and fix the CHL, not the CHL, the AHL lineups. I am off my game right now. 100%. Again, not feeling the best today. But we're making the most of it, and we will see what we can do. Carey Price is actually not playing that well, so maybe that explains the 7-4 record. Let's get Connor Brickley back into the lineup, and then defensively, at least put Mackenzie Weegar in, which is good. So, Antti Niemi, what can you do against the 2-7 Columbus Blue Jackets? Can we move to 8-4? And we do, and that puts us into second place in our division. I think I want to get in this episode through the next month. We'll do the first 2 months of the season. We'll take a look at the league-wide stats, and that'll do it for this opening episode, because as it is, my jaw already feels like it is going to fall off, which is a very, very uncomfortable situation here when you're supposed to be talking for this entire time. Scouting, I'm going to handle this the same way I have in the Bruins series thus far. We'll just go to every area for 2 weeks. Again, I still don't have that much faith in the scouting and the whole drafting system on this game, but I at least try. And again, it's funny that the draft is going to be weaker than normal, considering I have made the draft class a lot better and a lot more realistic than EA have. So I love that message. Didn't mean to check the friends list, but hey, if you caught any names there, tell them I sent you. Tell them I sent you. That is just complete habit to check the friends list when you are waiting for these goddamn menus to load. We need to get Christian Fullen. The one thing that sucks is that because we didn't have, we only had 32 players drafted. So it just filled the AHL lineup with a bunch of guys we don't need, and they will be there for the majority of the season. Price will start against Boston because why not? And hopefully he can start turning things around. He has been struggling as of late. Holy shit, these injuries. My God. Now, that's the thing. I haven't even touched the injury bar, so there's no reason for players to be dropping left and right. David Musel, I have no idea. He's going to have to wait or not because Dan Girardi's hurt and he's out for a while. Boy, oh boy, these injuries. These injuries. Okay, defense. Girardi is a righty. So we are probably going to call up Christian Folin here. And indeed, we are. Folin will find his way into the NHL lineup. One of the big reasons that we signed him and fucking Jesus, Eric Jelena. Almost forgot his name. Big reason that we signed him was to actually have some decent players in the background if needed. So it's Green, Boschman, Schlemko, Lovejoy, Kevin Miller, and Folin. That is not correct. We'll bump up those two guys. Folin will play with Schlemko in the AHL. Fucking Christ. Again, this is the reason why I do, like, hey, let's sim a month, let's sim 2 months. Because this is so goddamn time-consuming and just flat-out boring. There was nothing exciting about this. There was nothing entertaining, I can't imagine at least, hearing me try to ramble my way through editing these fucking lineups. It is miserable. Let's see here. Our best player. Let's get Teemu Pulkkinen as the extra attacker. I don't know why it always has defensemen. I don't get it. But we are halfway through November and almost done here with the opening 2 months of the season and this episode. Michael Dal-Coll goes down with a broken nose. Man, this game is giving us absolutely no breaks right now. Dan Girardi will be back. All the pop-ups. Literally all of the pop-ups. Is there one that we haven't seen yet? Aside from, I guess, a trade or a waiver claim. Son of a bitch. Girardi might get pissed that he missed that Bruins game, which would kind of suck, but it is what it is. We are currently, Jesus, the Dallas Stars are 16-2-2. What the hell? We're going to have to look at the Stars at least, because that is absolutely insane. He missed 1 start and he drops 5 overall points. EA, you are disgraceful. Fucking disgraceful. Hopefully Christian Folin makes it through waivers. He didn't. Son of a bitch. And now we have a defenseman. He better bounce back. That is so fucking annoying. Like, oh, you sat out 1 start. Oh, you missed 1 start after coming back from injury. You're so upset. Like, just bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Let's get Antti Niemi into the lineup. God, this game. It's the little things about this engine. It doesn't make sense. You can't, like, I get it, programming and shit like that. He's not, oh, that's right, we fucking lost Christian Folin. Whatever, we'll just keep Uyghur in there. Fucking Christ. Alright, well, now the big question is whether or not Dan Girardi bounces back. If not, we're kind of screwed because he has a pretty hefty contract. Worst comes to worst, I'll just give him a letter. I will give him, I'll give him Ryan Reeves's letter. Lost morale for being injured. Jesus Christ. Alright, well, the team itself, the Blues are doing okay. But our luck as far as menus and players getting hurt so far has been miserable. And you know what? Let's actually check. Christian Folin was taken by Montreal. I'm going to strip Ryan Reeves of the alternate and give it to Dan Girardi and see if that bounces back. And hopefully it doesn't just plummet. Girardi already has an alt. Okay, well, shit. Okay, we'll make this work. Let's give Girardi the captaincy and see if that boosts him back up. Ryan Reeves will keep his alternate, and Francois Beauchemin will get dropped and hopefully not have his overall plummet. Did that work? He's at least back up to an 82. All right, well, that's a start. That's a start. We may have managed to avoid a pretty shitty situation. We are 13-8 through 21 games. Not the best record, but not the worst. And we have 2 games to go. We actually get a trade. Yeah, I am not, even though it's for one. It is. No, I'm not taking Brooks Orpik even for 1 year. Although we might need somebody like him if Dan Girardi decides to keep being a douchebag. Can we beat the Minnesota Wild? We do. We shut them out 4-0. We play the 19-2-2 Dallas Stars, and we lose 3-2 to finish off this episode. Let's just send to December 1st. To make it all nice and pretty, Michael Dal Coll breaks his nose again. Jesus Christ. Anyway, 14-9. 14-9. Through the first 2 months of the season, we are in second place in our division. Let's see what the Blues themselves have done before taking a look at the league in general. So let's see. 19 points for Evander Kane so far. He is our leading scorer. Tyler Bozak with 18. Maybe we should bump him back up to the second line. Line and Eichel there as well. Trevor Lewis has 13 points on the fourth line. Maybe we should bump him up. Jay Beagle doing well. Lee Stempniak, only 1 goal thus far. Huberdeau kind of struggling a little bit, but there's nobody who's really killing. I mean, our defensemen are bottom in terms of point production, which is generally, I should say, what you want to see. The goalies, Carey Price, still only a .906 save percentage. Maybe it's the defense in front of him. I don't recall playing Antti Niemi that much. Did I fuck up at some point and just keep Niemi in? Did I just keep Niemi in for the last... I guess I accidentally kept Antti Niemi in and forgot to switch him back at some point. Again, I'm off my game right now. Like I said, not feeling the greatest. That could be a reason as to why our record is not better, is that we've been rolling with Antti Niemi, but maybe we avoided the injury period for Carey Price. The Dallas Stars are the best team in the league. We'll also look at Toronto, seeing as they are the best team in the Eastern Conference. So first up, let's get a look at the Maple Leafs here. Take a look at the forwards first. Kyle Turris, Dale Weiss has 20 points. They have Brendan Gallagher, William Karlsson, Braden Shen. Like, that is not the greatest team on paper. Andre Case, a 77 overall, is playing. They also have Clayton Keller. Interesting that team is doing as well as they are. Defensively, though, they're pretty good. Roman Josi, Ekman Larson, Matthias Ekholm, Dan Hamhuis, Alexei Marchenko, and they signed Paul Martin with Jason Garrison scratched. The goalie is Sergei Bobrovsky, although he is currently injured. Darcy Kemper has had some starts, as has Oscar Dansk. The Dallas Stars, though, who we're looking at next, I'm going to look at the league in general. I feel like a fucking idiot for not having Carey Price in, apparently. Dallas has Tuukka Rask as their goalie. The defense, Hampus Lindholm, David Savard, Markov, Bouwmeester, Patrick Weirkoch, Matt Tennyson, and Jared Cowan. So not the best defense. Forwards, though, Thomas Hertl is over a point a game player. Claude Giroux, Mike Camilleri, Patrick Sharp, James Neal, Panik, Henrik Sedin. Again, like, not the best lineup, better than ours, I'd say, as far as offensive firepower. But interesting to see them and Toronto doing as well as they are. The league in general, TJ Oshie with 31 points. He is on the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, you have Mike Hoffman on Tampa, Pavelski on Tampa, Blake Wheeler stayed in Winnipeg, Ryan Getzlaf is also in Winnipeg. That has to be their top line. Oshie, Wheeler, and Getzlaf. Sidney Crosby is a Florida Panther with 27 points. Franz Nielsen with Tampa. Tarasenko went to Pittsburgh. Kopitar on the Avalanche. John Tavares to San Jose. And Drew Doughty is a Vancouver Canuck. So some interesting point totals there. Guys, I'm going to wrap up this episode because I feel like a moron over having Antti Niemi in goal. And again, I'm surprised I can still talk. My face hurts to that extent. That is it for this one, though. If you did, by some chance, enjoy this episode, I do thank you. And of course, if you enjoyed it that much, feel free to drop a like to help support my channel and the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one, where we continue to see what this fantasy drafted team can do.